Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on Switch City, where we're going to be doing our power rankings, looking at each team, ranking them from 30 to 1, looking at their additions, their subtractions, players they kept, players that I think fit in well with the organization, players that I think might need a new change of scenery, and ultimately my record prediction for each team at the end of the year. If you guys have missed the previous videos, go check them out. We're in our last 10 teams here as we're breaking down, I believe, the seventh team left in these power rankings coming in that top 10. As you guys can tell from the thumbnail, as you guys can tell from the title, we're going to be discussing the Phoenix Suns today, ladies and gentlemen. That is right, as the Phoenix Suns are one of the most intriguing and most enticing teams, I think, in this Western Conference here. Last season, we saw them have a disappointing finish, but with them making some changes around their edges and already looking fantastic in the preseason with nice young rookie Ryan Dunn. I'm expecting this team to take off. So let's dive in and let's look at the Phoenix Suns. Alrighty, so when looking at this Phoenix Suns team, like we discussed, we're going to look at their additions, subtractions, and their departures. And this team went through a complete overhaul this off season. The Phoenix Suns, like we said, had a very disappointing um free. Sorry, the Suns had a disappointing postseason last year, getting swept in the first round by the um, Minnesota Timberwolves, and because of that, they obviously had to make some changes. So they went out and did that. They lost three key players. They traded away David Roddy to the Atlanta Hawks. They lost Eric Gordon and Drew Eubanks to free agency, where Eric Gordon was still a solid shooter, but kind of played a similar role to Bradley Beal and Devin Booker already. And Drew Eubanks just wasn't that interior defender that the Suns needed. The Suns went out and added some pieces, though. They did go out and get EJ Liddell, who joined the trade via the Atlanta Hawks for David Roddy after they had too many wings. But EJ Liddell was then waived. They did bring in Monte Morris and Mason Plumlee on veteran contracts as well to kind of help out with that point guard, and backup center issue, but also got the steal of the offseason, bringing in Tyus Jones on a 1 year deal, veteran minimum contract, getting him to accept a contract with them to be a starter over other teams that were giving him more money. The Suns also had some re-signings as well. They went back and brought Royce O'Neal back on a 4 year deal as he was acquired at the trade deadline. They went and brought back Josh Okogie, who's still a solid defender for this team. They went back and brought Damian Lee, who was out the whole year with an ACL injury. He is back with the Suns. And Bol, the one that the Suns fans want to believe in, want to have that untapped potential. He agrees to come back to the Suns on a 1 year deal as well. So from looking at this team, we can then see, looking courtesy of Spot Track, the Suns have 20 players under coming into training camp, 14 under roster, three two-way deals, and three Exhibit 10s currently at the moment. The Suns are headlined by their big-headed monster in Big Three and Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker making the most money, all making around $50 million. Therefore, it's a little tough for the Suns as they're obviously in the second apron with having their next best players like Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, and Royce O'Neal making around that $20 to $15 million range over there. Like we said, the Suns do have some nice young enticing pieces as well this year, selecting Ryan Dunn and trading back in the draft to get him, and also getting additional draft capital to select Oso Ighodaro. And they also have some nice enticing pieces as well in the Exhibit 10 deals, and looking to bring some guys to their G League. Obviously, we know Frank Kaminsky, player who's been in Phoenix before, possibly might be getting that final roster spot depending on their big man situation, and obviously Mami Diake and Moses Wood, two players that are coming in on Exhibit 10s, most likely going to be playing for their G League. Jalen Bridges, Colin Gillespie, Ty Washington also shown some glimpses of some youth and promise in this league as well. And I do think that Colin Gillespie might be able to get off that two-way sooner than fans expect. So now that we've looked at their roster, kind of broken that down, why don't we look at some players that I think are going to be very, very great for this Suns team and kind of taking over for this squad and helping out them be successful in the Western Conference, and also some players that I don't necessarily think fit in well perfectly with this team. First off, let's talk about the steal acquisition in Tyus Jones. Now, Tyus Jones is one of the best assist to turnover ratio point guards in the NBA, and the Suns' major issue was the assist to turnover ratio. They were bottom five in the NBA last season. Even though Beal and Booker did look decent as point guards, they couldn't perfectly be that facilitator in this offense. And unfortunately, might have been that with a little bit of combination of Frank Vogel's team coaching style. But I think with adding Tyus Jones to this team with Mike Budenholzer is going to be a drastic change. We already saw in the first two preseason games combined. The Suns for Tyus Jones and Monte Morris had 21 assists to one turnover, which is just crazy to see as assist to turnover ratio. And I expect to see that carry throughout the entire rest of the preseason and into the regular season. Tyus Jones is that player that is going to set up this team, make sure that the players like Book, Beal, and Durant get the ball in their offense and can hit those shots effectively. Personally, I think Tyus Jones is really going to step up. The only concern with Tyus Jones is how is he going to look on the defensive side. I still think he'll be able to hold his own. And how will he look if a player like Beal, Booker, or Durant can't get their shot going? Can he hit an open shot? Can he get that open opportunity going? I think so. But as long as he can do that in effect with this Suns team, he is going to be a big, big domino effect at being added to this Suns squad and helping them out. Let's not also forget he chose to go to the Suns because he could start here and he knew he would start here. Other teams were offering him money. Other teams were giving him more money, but not the biggest role. And he chose the role over the money. And that's what is key. Tyus wants to win. He wants to be a big, big, vital piece to this squad. And with Grayson Allen helping out and convincing him to come to Phoenix alongside other players like James Jones, Matt Ishbia, and other people in this organization, this is going to be a huge acquisition for the Suns this year and them taking a bigger stance in the West. And everybody's talking about him, so we have to talk about him. Let's break down and talk about Ryan Dunn, ladies and gentlemen. This man has been turning heads all preseason, and he has been balling out. If you guys don't know, I work for Digest Media. I make videos for Celtics Digest and Suns Digest. So if you're fans of those channels, go check them out. But on Suns Digest, we've been hyping up Ryan Dunn, talking about him all pre-season, all off-season, and Suns fans are high on him. This guy is delivering. And in Mike Budenholzer's offense, I expected him to shoot more, but maybe and be still effective, but not this effective. Last night, Ryan Dunn hit the dagger to beat the Denver Nuggets and was winning this game basically for this team, was one of their better players, had 20 points, 6 for 11 from 3-point range, where in college he shot 20% from three under one attempt. In the NBA, he's been shooting 45% on at least 5 attempts. That just goes to show you, one, that the 3-point shot is there, but two, he is one of the better players in this draft. And Budenholzer, James Jones, Matt Ishbia did a fantastic job in finding him and integrating him into this system. I've been saying on Suns Digest, I think he could grow into a Herb Jones, to a Jaden McDaniels type esque player if he keeps this jump shot up. And right now, it's looking like he can definitely reach those limits, if not even more, with this Suns squad. This is just his rookie season, and he's already looking this great on the defensive side and looking on the offensive side. The Suns waived EJ Liddell, waived Nazir Little to make sure that players like Oso Godaro and Ryan Dunn got more run, more experience in this offense, and it's clearly showing that that was the right move. They saw something in the preseason, they saw something in camp that they believed in, and Ryan Dunn and Oso Godaro have been proving that so far for this Suns franchise. I'm really, really excited with the Suns. This is going to be one of these steals of the draft if staying healthy. And Suns fans, you got a good one in Ryan Dunn, and the NBA is going to be jealous of this. Fell all the way to 29 in the NBA draft. Just crazy. So now that we got that all out the way and we talked about some players I liked, let's talk about some players that I necessarily don't think fit. And for the Suns, honestly, there's not really that much question marks. They kind of filled in roles that they needed. They brought in Tyus Jones, they brought in Monte Morris, they brought in Mason Plumlee to fill those holes at the point guard and the center position. They addressed those wing concerns by getting some beefier and bigger wings, by drafting Ryan Dunn, bringing back Josh Okogie. And with Ryan Dunn's kind of emergence and resurgence in this team, it's kind of led me to think that he will get that backup wing spot. So ultimately, the only person that I think necessarily doesn't really fit in now, even though I still think he can be a quality player and still be a good enough player for the Suns, is unfortunately Josh Okogie. And Josh Okogie came back to this Suns team a little bit later in the free agency period. He took some time to decide whether what he wanted to do, but he did come back to this Suns team and is on a bit of a tradable contract as well, which is helpful for the Suns and for Okogie. I really do think that Okogie can bring some great value to the defensive side of the ball on a bench unit as a 2/3, primarily a little bit of a tweener in that position there, but can really, really help out a team in that regard. And I think a lot of teams would utilize his services as well. It just with the Suns, they kind of already have this player right now in Ryan Dunn kind of already figured out now, and he's already younger. He's already a rookie, so why not give him that experience? Why not give him that opportunity over Josh Okogie? I would obviously do it. He's obviously younger. He's obviously proven he can be a little bit of a better player than Okogie. So I trust in Ryan Dunn at this point, which then kind of leaves Okogie kind of as a question mark, maybe to be a filler, have him just in case Dunn doesn't look the greatest to the start in the regular season. Maybe that shot is a little bit inconsistent. It looks good in the preseason, or if he does get injured, you do have that, other defender in Okogie to come off the bench. But I wouldn't be shocked if by trade deadline the Suns are looking to move a player in Josh Okogie because he still is valuable, still can, bring some sort of value to a team in the NBA, but just not to their team because they already have that role in Ryan Dunn. And kind of looking at another role that they need to kind of fill in with this team and kind of trying to plug that in with the piece that they trade for Josh Okogie. And like I said, since Josh Okogie can play some terrific defense and is a solid wing defender here, I think that a lot of teams will be anxious to kind of capitalize on that and kind of bring him in. So that obviously goes over the players I like, players I kind of dislike. So let's kind of go over now, obviously, the record prediction. Now, record prediction is going to be wonky, like I said this the last couple videos. 56 to 26, coming in fifth. That's all you really need to know is they're going to be the fifth seed in the West. I've been saying this since the beginning of the offseason with adding Tyus Jones, with adding Monte Morris, with adding Mason Plumlee. This team really does catapult into that leverage. I think with the West, there's top four. I think the Suns are kind of knocking on the door, trying to get into that top four, into that, make it a top five. But ultimately, they're in this Western Conference. Any team could switch up. Any team could have injuries. Any team could look brilliant, and we could see a bunch of different switch ups. The Rockets, the Grizzlies, they could come out of nowhere. The Warriors, the Lakers, they could be fresh as new. We have no idea. It's all just speculation. But ultimately, I think with the big three, as long as this team can stay healthy, as long as Bradley Beal can look pretty effective, with having Tyus Jones added to set up players like Booker and like Durant, I think they're going to look better in this offense and in this team. I think a player like Yusuf Nurkic, who has been out with some injuries so far, can be a solid rim protector and solid big for this squad still. And then being a rebounder and having Mason Plumlee as that backup big is huge, as another bigger body. Also, Iguodala, once again, another young piece that can kind of develop. Maybe he eclipses Plumlee by the end of the season. We'll have to wait and see. But ultimately, I like what this Suns team is doing. They have a good core. They are competing, but they also have some young pieces that look like they could help out and maybe even be vital pieces for this team's future in developing as well. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How do you guys feel about this Phoenix Suns team? Where would you guys rank them in the power rankings? Do I have them too high? Do I have them too low? Drop down your thoughts down below. Once again, you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support on the revitalization of this channel, and it's really, really appreciative as we're trying to get Swish City back and running through the start of the season. So like I said, if you enjoy these preseason rankings, make sure to stay tuned as we got the other 6 teams coming up for you guys, or 7 teams, excuse me, coming up for you guys in the next couple of days. We'll have that all breaking down leading up to the season. And then once season starts, we'll have a bunch of videos coming out breaking down teams, talking about a bunch of different topics on this channel. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys have been really, really appreciative. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.